Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar about liveQ Interpreter. Welcome from all over the world, I can say. My colleague just let me know that there are 31 countries connected here today, so nice. Welcome to this webinar about liveQ. There will be a few slides of presentation, general presentation, but then we'll spend most of the time in the environment so that you really see how it works and what you can do with it. And then we'll come back for just 2 or 3 more slides at the end of this webinar. We won't take questions in this webinar, but feel free to contact us, of course, after this webinar with your questions, and we'll answer them privately and share the information then with the other participants. So this is what we are going to talk about today. We'll come back to these screens. Just wanted to mention that I'm not the only one from liveQ here. My colleagues Dirk Verbeke and Dicken Minta are here as well. And of course, everything is well monitored by our dear colleague Philip, who today is not with us, but we should wish him well. He's in the hospital today, but not something dramatic, but wishing him all the best. My name is Bert Wielin. In English, that becomes Bert Wielin, and I will do the presentation today. Who we are liveQ Education. We're based in Belgium. I'm based in Belgium today as well. And you may know us from these two things, actually. The Language Lab and Interpreter Lab, Teaching Training Lab world, and the online assessment world, especially also in language training and language teaching and language assessment. The Language Lab and Interpreter Labs are installed labs inside fixed classes. The assessment part, the down part, is an online part. And I'll go a little bit more into detail just to well position what we will tell you today, to position it opposed to the other products that we have. We call it the Q suite, all Qs. Assessment Q is our platform, online platform for assessments, evaluations, and exercises online. Translation Q is a platform for translation revision with a translation error memory system in it. And then on the right side, there is the Interpreter Q platform and the Interpreter Q media player, specifically designed to train and teach interpreter skills. Interpreter Q is not an online system. Interpreter Q Media Player is a media player with specific recording capabilities for interpreting, but also installed locally. And what we will talk about today is liveQ, which is an online platform, but specifically designed also for interpreter teaching and training. You will see what that is. Some of you may be familiar with VidaNet, which is our language lab software. Again, and I'll repeat it at the end of the session as well. Today we're talking about liveQ, and liveQ is an online platform for interpreter teaching and learning. The idea of a class, a live class, will be in liveQ. Training and exercises. Assessment Q is our specific platform for interpreter evaluation, certification, and exams. So today is about the liveQ interpreter version. Now, what do we try to solve? What do we solve? Which problem do we solve with this new product? And you will see that in the margin on the right, there is this little virus available. And I think Some of the reasons we do this are because of the current situation, of course. What we try to solve is to find one platform to do interpreter training and teaching, interpreter learning, and even a bit of evaluation in what we call a hybrid classroom setting. Hybrid classroom setting is where students can be, or participants can be, live in the class in the same room as the teacher, but can also participate remote. So that mixed combination of participants is what we call a hybrid classroom. And that classroom, because it's an online platform, should both be used for synchronous and asynchronous activities. So I want to show you our definition of the hybrid classroom again. It's a combination of local and remote participants in one class, in where the teacher can be in control when it's a live class, but students can also go into student self-practice if the teacher allows exercises to be available before or after the class. Then students can work on their own in the same environment, in one and the same environment. That's how we define the hybrid classroom: local, remote, teacher control, self-practice within one environment. That's what we try to solve with liveQ interpreter. As you can see here in the middle, we have this platform. It's cloud-based. It's an online platform. And on the left side, you have the live or synchronous situation where you have a class, a teaching, a course, with the teacher available and the participants available. And as you can see in this drawing, the 6 upper computers are available in the class and are in the same room as the teacher. They are connected to liveQ from within that class. And then there are remote participants that can see the teacher on their screen, as you can see me now. And all these participants are linked to the same platform. They are all connected online through the browser. And then on the right side, you have the same platform, but that platform can then be used without a teacher live available, without a teacher being present, for the students from anywhere on any device. They can connect again to the platform and do their exercises and train. And of course, everything is automatically logged and saved, and the teacher can always have a look at what the students have done, have performed, have recorded, and give feedback and so on. So this is the combination of a live synchronous and self-practice asynchronous in that one platform. So liveQ is the name of the product, liveQ Reliable Interaction. If we look at some of the basic features, and I've already said we won't spend too much time here in this PowerPoint, but we want to demonstrate it. But a few very important things are that there is no install required to use liveQ at the not at the teacher side, not at the student side. It just works in a browser. It works best in Chrome, let's be honest, in a browser, but without installing anything in Chrome, just Chrome on Windows, on Mac OS, without any problem. Everything you do within that platform is automatically and securely stored. You will see that part of the activities will be to record yourself. That recording will be safely and securely stored on our servers, and then can be retrieved and can be checked and evaluated by the teacher. Important information that if you already have a learning platform available, like Blackboard or Moodle or Canvas or another platform, our platform links to those existing platforms by single sign-on, by API exchanges, or by simple LTI. That's a standard to connect platforms. So you won't need to redo all your user management again in our platform. By using a single click in the existing platform, students or participants will be logged on to our platform already. I think that's a very important one if you already have such a platform, of course. Now, liveQ as a platform, as a product, has three main pillars, especially for the teacher. As a teacher, you can firstly prepare what you are going to do. So you can prepare a language lab, a virtual language class. You can prepare your interpreter exercises before. And you will see me do that in the demo. I will act as a teacher and I will prepare two exercises for my students. Then you deliver it, you distribute it, and the students do their activities. Delivering will allow you to say that course or that exercise will be available tomorrow, for instance, from 9 to 11. Or I make it available as a self-practice all week. That's something that the teacher can decide. So that's the delivery option. And then a course or a class can be initiated and monitored by the teacher if it's a live class, or you can just say, I'll distribute these activities in self-practice mode, and then there is no start button to be pushed by the teacher. Then it's in self-practice mode. You'll see me do that in a while in the demo. And then, of course, finally, there is the review part, the third pillar, the review part where the teacher can give feedback. If you want to, you can give students the role of a grader or an evaluator as well, so to allow them to give feedback as well. But everything is stored in the system, and either live or if it's not a live class afterwards, you can perfectly go back and listen, see what has been recorded, and give your feedback to that. So in the demo, just to explain what you will see me go into the system as a teacher. I will create a simultaneous and a consecutive interpreting exercise or an activity. Sorry about the typo here. I will deliver that. I will distribute that to a few of my students. Today, my colleagues are in the environment as students, and I will also launch those activities for them. So we will have a live small class, and as a teacher, you will see that I can live monitor what the students are doing. I can listen and watch. I will have access to what they are saying, and their webcam will be shared with me, and I will be able to talk to them individually by intercom. So I could, while I hear someone doing his or her exercise, I will be able to listen in live, and I will be able to talk to them, to give a few remarks or whatever. And of course, after the session, during the session, probably I won't have time to listen to every individual student long enough. So I can do that after the session. I can review what everyone has done and then give my remarks through that. And as a second part of the demo, and that's the asynchronous part, as a teacher, I will turn some of the activities then into self-practice mode. That means that I don't need to be available then as a teacher for the students to learn, to practice. They can access those exercises then whenever they want, asynchronously within the period that I defined for those self-practice exercises. And then, of course, as a teacher, I will not or cannot live monitor what the students are doing. But I can review what they did afterwards. So when they finish their exercises, I will have access to what they have done, and I can see that. Okay. Use cases, where can that be used? I think it's obvious that this platform is made to be the live interpreter training course platform, which allows you to give you live feedback. So you can listen in while students are performing from a distance, and you can listen and go into intercom with the students. Sorry. You can use that for interpreter activities or exercises as assignment or as homework. You can even use it for interpreter remote exams. If you want, you can let that be proctored by Teams or Zoom or even an official proctoring system that makes sure that the student is in a room on his own, that there are no people helping the student, etc. That could be used for that as well. And okay, let me first go to the demo and then come back to these slides about 2021. So now I'm going to the demo of liveQ. So what you see here, and I need to move away my webinar tools, is the student portal. So if students log on to the platform, either with their login and password or from within another platform, they will see this overview of courses or classes that are available for them. This class I made earlier for last Tuesday, but I had it available today until 11. What I will do now is create a new class. So you can see here, as a teacher, I have this add button here on the right. I click add and I say, this will be the English-French interpreter class for the webinar. It's available today, start time 10 o'clock, and it'll take, for instance, 2 hours. And I'll publish it in course 1. And this is an important one here. As a teacher, I will enable the mic, webcam, and screen sharing options for the students. So ticking this button will ask the students to activate their microphone and webcam when they access the platform. And then I need to say for who. So I prepared a group for today, the webinar liveQ interpreter group, and all my colleagues are inside that group. So I click finish. If I refresh the screen and if the students can do the same, so you can see here, I have a new course, a new class, English-French interpreter class webinar. As a teacher, I will go into it and I will add activities. So you can see that this is an empty class, an empty course. I will add an activity. To start with, I will add an activity of the conversation type, and I will call this the interpret each other. So in this exercise, this is the instruction that I can add here. Please, one of you will talk as in a meeting, and the other one will interpret as you go. Don't know, I won't talk about that specific language or etc. But this is the instruction that I give. There will be 2 students connected to each other as in a conversation, and one of them will be like the floor and the other one will do the interpretation. Okay, so this is my instruction, and then as a teacher I will decide whether I want the recording to be controlled by the students so that they have the recording buttons available, or that it is recorded automatically. And I must admit I prefer that one because then I am sure that they are recording. Typically in a self-practice mode, you'd have the recording controlled by the participants. And then the last one is that you choose whether it's only the audio, the microphone, or it's the audio and the video combined, so the webcam and the microphone. Okay, so setting up an exercise is pretty easy. Of course, you could use a more specific instruction, etc. here. And I will save this first exercise. Okay, I go back to activities. This activity has not started yet because I am the teacher. I am in control of this class now. I will need to hit the start button to start it. But I'll first create a second exercise of the speaking or recording, and I will call this simultaneous interpreting. And as an instruction, I'll say, please launch the speech and interpret. Too short, I know, but and then as a teacher, you can choose to upload a source file that contains the speech or the video. You can choose between MP3 and MP4 files, and I'll upload the source here. I'll upload the source file that is an MP4. There it is. Okay. So you can see that it is uploaded this MP4 file and that will be the source file for the recording exercise, for the interpreting exercise that they will work on. Uploading 100%, converting it, and then putting it on our server. So this means that your files will be uploaded to our server and will be available for the students whenever they want to access these courses. And I'll save this exercise. So if I go back to the activities of this course, now you can see I have 2 exercises. If my students, so please let me check if the students are available. So you can see here in the participant list that we are 4 now in this class, myself, Dicken, Dirk, and Stefan. These orange icons mean that for some reason these persons have not shared their screen. So I know already that I won't be able to see their screen. Stefan did. So I will be able to see Stefan's screen. But let me go back to the activities. Students, I will launch the activities now for you. So for them, actually, as a teacher, I can hit the start button. The students will see their screens changing automatically because I start a live action now. So wherever they are in their platform, I hit the start button now. It says these are the groups that I suggest you to use. So that's fine for me. I could reshuffle the groups, etc. But here at the bottom, I can say now, start the activity. So what happens now is that the students now see that there is an activity ongoing. And you can already see here that this group is already being recorded. So what I can do as a teacher now is I can go to the Dirk and Dicken group and I can listen what they are saying. So in my ear, I can hear them talking now. Okay. If I want to talk to them, I go into intercom with them here. So that means that so I'm added now to the group, as you can see, and I'm talking to them so they can hear me talking to them while they are doing their exercise now. So out of intercom and just in discrete listening mode, I can listen to what they say. The same for Stefan and myself. Well, here you can see that that is one of the students, and he has activated his webcam, so I can see Stefan and I can hear him here. Okay. Actually, Stefan, if I go into intercom, we are in double intercom now because you are on GoToMeeting and we are on liveQ. So this is complicated. But anyway, so as a teacher, I can listen in. If they have their webcam activated, I can see that, etc. And now I can also say, stop this exercise. So if there are 5 groups, you will have 5 groups, etc. I've stopped the exercise and I can see now the recording for each of those groups. I will have the recording of the audio and the video if they have their, if they have their video available, of course. And then I can listen back and watch what has been recorded during that exercise. I think the quality of what I can see is pretty good. So this is really okay. So let me go back to the other activity. As you can see here, the first activity is finished. And then I go to the simultaneous interpreting activity and I launch it for the students. Okay. So students will see now this overview of this activity. Please launch the speech and interpret. So they will go into it. And if all goes well, as a teacher, I will be able to see here, can I ask the students to make very short recordings so that we can see that the recording is available for me as a teacher? Has someone already? Yeah, there you go. You can see that Stefan already finished his recording. I can see that on my screen. And you can see that the system is now preparing. Okay, everyone has finished. Good. So I go back. You have finished all exercises. And I will share the results now. So what I can do now is I can go to this exercise again. I can go to the review mode and I can listen to all of the students' efforts that have been here. So I can go back. Yeah, this is a strange demo because I'm back here as a teacher and I can see my own recording because I added myself as a student as well. So what I hear now is the speech on the left. It's a TED speech, and then myself talking because I recorded that automatically in the left ear. So this is what the system can do today. I'm going back to the activities in review. Now I can leave it open. So there it is. Yeah. I hope that is clear so that I can see and watch. Let me check if, just for you to understand, these are completed past courses. So I can show you that from the 1st of July, for instance, or from June, I can perfectly go back to an exercise and let me check if there is someone. Yeah, so this is another activity that was done on that day, and I can perfectly listen back and watch that recording from that day. So that's the same with listen and repeat. If I go into that exercise, you will see here that I have access to all the recordings of the students, and I can listen back to all those recordings if there are recordings. Okay. So this is to show you that the system automatically saves and stores what has been recorded. Depending on the options of the teacher, it is audio only or audio and video. Okay. So if I go back to the presentation, just to add a few more elements to that. So liveQ will be available at the beginning of 2021, but of course we are already thinking about adding features as it's a live platform, and those who are working with AssessmentQ already know that we have like 3-4 updates per year. So the first version will have everything that you have seen in my demo. That means there is an in-app microphone and webcam check already available, so people can check whether their webcam and microphone works. The live class is available, the screen monitoring is available. I must admit that students need to authorize you to see their screen. So this is not something that works automatically, but I think that is fair. For privacy reasons, the browser will always ask you to use the microphone, webcam, and to share your screen. So the simultaneous and consecutive recording, well, if you have splitted fragments, you can perfectly use the system for consecutive recordings already. We're working on a consecutive recording behavior as well. And this intercom function is also already available. And I did not mention it earlier, but our system perfectly works within SEB. For those who know SEB or those who don't, SEB is Safe Exam Browser, and it's a lockdown browser. That means that if you use SEB, you cannot use any other tool on your computer anymore. So it's a very good browser to use in exam or evaluation or assessment situations. And liveQ works perfectly within Safe Exam Browser. So you can use it to work on a lockdown computer environment remotely, for instance, for exams or evaluations. liveQ Interpreter Q version 2 will have a few topics added, and that will be the mosaic view to monitor all the participants together. As we had now in the webinar tool, we'll add this screen that you have instead of just a list of the students, you will have a view of a mosaic view of all the participants. We will allow a request to speak and then a speak to all function from within that mosaic, so that you can give the students the floor and let them speak to all the other participants. The same for screen sharing. Now, the screen sharing is only the teacher that can see the screen of the student, but will allow one of the screens to be shared to all the participants. The microphone and webcam check that is available now in the system in the options tool will become a microphone webcam pre-check. So we will check if it works before allowing you into a class. That will be a change in version 2. And we will also work a bit harder on the integration. Will make it possible that an exam only starts in exam mode. Today, it's the decision of the end user whether he starts it in secure exam browser or not. And in version 2, we'll force that use in some situations as an option, of course. And then by the end of next year, we'll come to yet another version. But as you know, we'd like to listen to your input on what features specifically are needed for interpreters. But we are thinking about adding a live floor option, meaning that there will be a new role in the system that we will call the speaker. And that will be a new role that doesn't necessarily need to be the teacher. So as a teacher, you will be able to give a speaker the floor, and that floor will be shared to all the participants. And of course, we're thinking about relay mode as well in that situation. But please let us know how you would like to use it. We're interested in hearing your use cases. We will add other roles like a live evaluator, and that is not the teacher, not the speaker, but an evaluator that can listen in, but that cannot go into intercom. So that live evaluator is just a passive evaluator that cannot give feedback, that cannot talk to the candidates or participants. And there will be, of course, more than one evaluator within one session. And then probably if that becomes too complicated for the teacher to handle, we'll add a moderator role that will be able to tick the right boxes or to tick the right buttons if it's a live class. And if a teacher, for instance, wants to be speaker at the same time and does not want to use all the buttons. And then I forgot to mention, but we already do dual track recording. You may have seen it in what I presented. It's already recording the source and the recording, but we will add a feature that it records those files in stereo, meaning that one of the tracks will be in the left ear and the other track in the right ear. So stereo recording and stereo playing, so that you can typically hear the interpreter only in the right ear, for instance, and the floor in the left ear, or that it is your choice whether you. And of course, we already today with the 2 tracks, we have sliders to change the volume of both tracks, but we'll add a slider then for left and right as well, of course. So liveQ is the platform that will do that. We wanted to add an important information on the fact that it's a full service online platform. So we do everything for you, not in terms of content creation, of course, but in the technical terms. You will be using our servers. The data will be safely stored, GDPR compliant, stored on our servers. The servers will be on your continent, and if you really want it, and that's not a problem at all, you can have your own private server. We can install a specifically secured environment for one specific organization. We already do that now, but everything is safely stored in that cloud environment, and as it is a full service platform, it comes with the services you'd expect. We'll offer an excellent training for you to be really autonomous. After that training, you won't need us anymore. You will be fully independent in that platform. You can work and add courses and more exercises without us. We know there is an excellent online knowledge base online. So if you don't know, or if you forgot how to do this or that, just type a few search words and the knowledge base will really show you a step-by-step approach on how to do this or that. We've learned a lot from our other platforms, so we know that is a very important tool. And then there is a range of other support options that we can discuss. Do you want us to support your end users as well? That's possible, but it comes with options, of course. So to repeat and to end this presentation, I finally review one more time to the other members of the family. liveQ was really designed from a synchronous point of view to be able to monitor as a teacher the interpreter exercises that are being done both in the class and remotely. Assessment queue is already being used a lot in the interpreter world, because in assessment queue we have a few what we call question types. It's a platform to do online exams and exercises. We call it question types, and it includes a simultaneous and consecutive recording question type. It also includes a translation revision question type. And those questions can be published and then be made by the participants anytime, anywhere, or again in a specific year. But it's an asynchronous thing. There is no live monitoring as such in assessment queue. The interesting thing is that assessment queue is completely API based, so it can be perfectly integrated into your existing platforms. And this is my final slide, really. Assessment queue today, for instance, is used by NATI, the Australian Association for Accreditation of Translators and Interpreters. And since this year, they have started to organize their translation and interpreter exams online, of course, partly because of the COVID crisis situation, because people cannot travel to the exam centers anymore. They have started to do online remote from the houses of the students, really, or the candidates. And what they do is they use the recording question type, as you can see here, the dual track with a source file on the left and the participant or the candidate on the right. They do simultaneous recordings where they allow 3 attempts for the students or the candidates, and they have a consecutive recording exercise as well, where they only have 1 attempt. So in the simultaneous one, the 3 attempts are stored and through the API made available to the evaluators in the existing NATI platform. And they also use the revised translation question type, which is a question type that shows a source file text on the left a translated file on the right, and people can find and correct and categorize errors in that translation. It's not the same as translation queue. For those who knows translation queue, that's the same basic idea, but revised translation question type is a simpler, easier version of that. It has no error memory, but it works perfectly to check whether people can find the errors in the translation. And as I said, there is a deep API connection with the NATI existing systems. That means that they don't need to register candidates in our platform. That's being done by an API call. The results of what the students, the candidates have performed in our platform automatically are downloaded through the API into the existing NATI systems for grading, for evaluating, etc., even for archiving. And that's a very good use case of interpreter and translator evaluation or assessment. For you to check which member of our family suits best your needs. So this is the end of this webinar. I have the email addresses of myself and my colleagues available here. So please don't hesitate to ask questions or clarifications or even more specific things to any of us. Thank you for being here. I've seen we've been with more than 70 at some point. So thank you for your interest, and hope to see you soon in the real world as well.